Matheus Nunes has last laugh as Man City stun Wolves in record comeback. Manchester City were behind against Wolves but came back to win it in dramatic fashion with another John Stones injury time winner. Fear nothing. That was the message in the centre circle before kickoff, and that was exactly the approach Wolves took to Premier League champions Manchester City in their bid to improve an awful start and begin to climb the table. Within 7 minutes, they were ahead, bravely holding their nerve at the back as the Blues snapped at their heels before breaking through the lines with Jurgen Strand-Larsen sweeping home a Nelson Semedo cross that saw Rico Lewis and John Stones exposed. City, unlike the early years under Pep Guardiola, no longer fear going behind though. Where previously a goal conceded would often be a signal for further crumbling, the last 2 seasons it has almost felt like par for their course. Their comeback win at Molineux broke the record of Arsenal invincibles for 12 consecutive unbeaten games after falling behind, won 10, drawn 2. Conceding is of course still a concern, especially when it heightens existing feelings around the lack of pace in midfield to respond to threats and awareness at the back to stay switched on. City are unlikely to win the league by giving every opponent a goal head start. It is just that this Guardiola team are so much less rattled by conceding than previous versions. Erling Haaland was isolated, Mateo Kovacic does not have the Rodri instinct to make an opening, yet City stayed calm and worked their way through whatever issues they had to before finding a first-half equaliser. It helped when you have a £78 million centre-back who has turned into a goal machine. When those higher up the pitch struggled to test José Sá, Josko Gvardiol stepped up on his weaker foot and curled an unstoppable effort past him. Nobody could quite believe it when Gvardiol did it at the Bernabeu, and while that goal remains amazing, the Croatian now has 6 more to his name, only less than Phil Foden and Erling Haaland in that time for City, with none of them being tap-ins. Outgoing sporting director Txiki Begiristain could hardly be accused of plucking Gvardiol from obscurity, yet his transformation into the rampaging left-back that City fans have wanted Begiristain to sign for years will be particularly pleasing for the recruitment team. That has been the City way, signing very good players with the potential to become excellent in multiple positions, and Savigno switching wings with Jeremy Doku at the start of the second half was another reminder of what talent they have. Savigno buzzed about effectively, getting 2 Wolves defenders booked inside the opening 20 minutes, but Doku did not make the right decisions often enough and was the first to be taken off. If there were any eyebrows raised at the omission of Phil Foden from the starting lineup as he looks to get his season going, he didn't do enough after replacing Doku. Jack Grealish added more threat off the bench, and just when it looked like City hadn't really done enough in the second half to test Sá and the Wolves' defence up, popped Stones from a 95th minute corner to steal the win. There was controversy with it being initially ruled out for an offside before referee Chris Kavanagh was directed to his screen and overturned the decision. The goal stood. Stones may not score the stunners that Gvardiol does, but his goals are among the heaviest City score. And who was responsible for City being in that position to score? Matheus Nunes, on as a late substitute and relentlessly booed and insulted, who made a crucial inch-perfect tackle against his former club before running the length of the pitch to see his shot deflected for the start of the series of corners that City scored from. With Arsenal dropping points at Bournemouth on Saturday, this would have felt a missed opportunity for City to take full advantage and move well clear of their biggest rivals even in the early stages of this title race, despite extending their unbeaten run in the league to a new club record of 31. With that injury-time winner, any disappointment from the day evaporated with momentum injected into the team at the start of a new set of games thanks to some of the more unlikely sources. Across the league, this is why so many teams fear City. I disagree, a Pep Guardiola convinced about Man City's solution after Wolves' win. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola responded to a suggestion that his team were below their best against Wolves. Pep Guardiola insisted this was the way he wanted Manchester City to play against deep-lying defences after John Stones rescued a win for the team. City went behind to an early goal, and while Josko Gvardiol restored parity in the first half, it looked like the Blues would have to settle for a point after a frustrating second half before Stones dramatically struck in the 5th minute of injury time. For all the difficulties in getting the win, Guardiola refuted the idea his team had been below their best as he praised the work done against 11 men in the penalty area. "I'm sorry to disagree, but I thought we played really good," he said. You can't press because goalkeeper Jose Sa is long ball. We win the duel, which is fine, and then there's 11 players on the penalty spot, so breaking them down is so difficult. I'd have loved to try and play and move forward and use the transitions. Look what happened with Pedro Neto last season, but long balls to the striker are always so difficult to control, and then the pace that they have and the physicality with Mario Lemina, they are so strong, and how aggressive with the ball, and the wingers with how they play. They are really strong at crosses with Bueno, Dawson and Totai, so 3 players on Erling Haaland. And then 2 or 3 players in front of him, the space doesn't exist. We were patient and making runs and crosses. We have a lot of chances because we don't have the tallest team to attack crosses. That's why I have the opinion that it's an excellent performance. This was the second game in a row, albeit separated by a fortnight, where City have struggled and been close to dropping points. Fulham took the lead at the Etihad and caused the Blues plenty of problems through the game in a 3-2 defeat that could have ended differently. Guardiola was not happy with the Fulham performance and spoke with the team about how he wanted them to play. Despite getting lucky to beat Wolves, the manager insisted it was exactly how he had wanted them to approach it. We talk a lot these days about what defines us as a team. We go to the opponent, it doesn't matter what happens, we go to the opponent and it doesn't matter which area of the pitch it is, and in those terms today, we were much better, he said. But we have to adapt. Inter came and did the same, so we have to accept it. Teams play 4 in the back, but when they play against us they play 5 at the back. They have holding midfielders, not just close, but holding hands with the central defenders. So what do you need? Josko, Gvardiol. Actions from the wingers, good cross, good shot. Be good in the small spaces. Without that it's difficult. Today, we were close to drawing, and in the end, we were lucky to win the game. The solution is the way we played today. Basically, it's to stay a lot in the positions you have to be. This is really important, and not become crazy. Otherwise they make transitions, and after that they punish you. We were close to 0-2. Pep Guardiola confirms double Man City injury blow for Champions League tie. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola spoke about Kyle Walker and Kevin De Bruyne after the Premier League win over Wolves. Pep Guardiola is not expecting to have Kyle Walker or Kevin De Bruyne back for their Champions League game on Wednesday. City beat Wolves in dramatic fashion on Sunday, with an injury-time goal from John Stones being initially ruled out before referee Chris Kavanagh overturned the original decision of his assistant after being invited to take another look at the footage. The Blues managed to win despite being without for first-team players that included Kevin De Bruyne and Kyle Walker. De Bruyne came off injured with a thigh injury in the Champions League draw with Inter in September and has not played since. He returned to light training a few days ago but was not seen at Molineux, and Guardiola does not expect to have him available to face Sparta Prague on Wednesday. The same goes for Walker, who featured for England in the international break but reported back with an issue and was described as not fully fit for the Wolves games. I don't think they will be ready for midweek, Guardiola told Sky Sports. We have a few days training, but I don't think so. City will also be without long-term absentees Rodri and Oscar Bob for the game, although Nathan Ake returned to the squad after a month out and Manu Akanji was pass fit after a fitness check. The Blues will be aiming for their second win in 3 Champions League games to improve their position in the newly revamped competition. Man City player ratings versus Wolves with one standout performer, but Erling Haaland struggles. Manchester City player ratings for their Premier League win over Wolves that saw them come from behind to secure vital victory. Manchester City struck late on to secure 3 points at Molineux as John Stones scored in added time to earn a 2-1 victory over Wolves. The home side started the day with just 1 point to their name after 7 games, but took the lead inside 7 minutes with a quick move that caught the champions out and left Jørgen Strand Larsen free to sweep past Ederson. City's goalkeeper made another good save to keep City in the game before Josko Gvardiol scored a terrific equaliser. Pep Guardiola's side dominated the game for much of the second half, but were made to wait until the dying stages for a winner when Stones struck from a Phil Foden corner, with the goal surviving a VAR check. Here are the player ratings for City from the game. Please subscribe in our channel for don't miss anything. Press the like button for support us.